Hey, I'm Matt. Today I'm going to show you how to sharpen a chisel the easy way. I'm a beginner. I've never done this before, and I was able to do it and learn how to do it very quickly. Anytime you get a chisel in the shop, doesn't matter if it's new or used, you need to go ahead and put an edge on it, your edge. Now be extremely careful. After we get done sharpening your chisel, it's going to be very, very sharp, and it will cut really, really deep. If you're interested in this sharpening system or the chisels I'm using today, there'll be links in the description below to those. What we'll actually do is take some 220 sandpaper and get our backs and the bevel first before we go to the lapping film. However, I want to go ahead and put the lapping film on the glass so that it goes ahead and dries because we're going to be using some water. What you'll notice is when you get this glass in, it's going to have an oily film to it from the factory. It's just made that way. And you may even see fingerprints, things like that, where you've already touched it. We want to remove that so that the lapping film actually sticks to it. Very simple, just this is isopropyl alcohol. You can use acetone, paint thinner, anything like that that will remove oils. Once we remove all that oily film, then we're going to put our lapping film on. Now I've got 3 pieces of glass. I've got 6 pieces of lapping film that actually comes with 7. This piece of white here. You're using this the same way you would be using the leather for stropping, and so I'm going to use the leather and not this. It's going to give me 6 pieces of lapping film, and I can put 1 on each side of the glass, so I'll have these stones to help sharpen from now on. I say stones or glass. The reason we're using glass is because it's flat. It's really easy to apply this lapping film. Just remove that backing, and then you're going to sprinkle a little bit of water on there and then just smooth it out. That's just going to help it stick really well. I used a piece of T-track to squeegee out the water. You can just use anything that's flat, credit card, anything like that. Then dry up any excess water, and I trim the edges with a razor blade. First step, I'm going to tear off a piece of this 220 3M and just stick it to my table saw because the table saw is the flattest surface in the shop. First thing I want to do is flatten the back. This is a fairly new chisel. It's not used, it was used when I got it, but I've never sharpened it. You can see right there, it actually is scraping that side so that I can actually feel a burr on that side, so we need to get that off. As far as how far up you go, about 1 inch or so should be plenty for most things you're going to be using the chisel for. And you'll be able to see what part is flattened and what part isn't. As you can see, you still see that part right there is not scratched all the way. It's just got a little, you can see where it's kind of scratched all the way around it except there. That means that spot's still a little high. Once all of it looks uniform, then you can move on to the next step. So these are basically going to act like the water stone like you've seen most people use, but this is just like an adhesive film. It uses water as well, just to help lubricate. And this is the highest or the lowest grit, and then we're going to work our way up, flip these over, and then all the way back around. This way we get all grits. We kind of make our, just like sanding, 60, 80, 120, 220, this is a similar idea. And you'll start seeing that get polished a little bit, even with the higher grit. And this kit comes with these anti-slip pads too, so that's awesome. I'm starting to see it polished up about a 1/2 inch now. I'm going to keep going until it gets about 3/4 or an inch. Should be plenty. If you start seeing that liquid change color, it's not getting dirty. It's actually the metal coming off of your chisel, so you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing there. Main thing is you want to keep this flat. You don't want to raise this up even inadvertently, so be pressing down up here. One thing you want to do is make sure that you wipe your chisel between grits. That way it takes off any of that other grit and you don't take it with you. And these are all color coded, so you know what step you're taking next. It comes with this paper. You see here, it shows you what to use. We'll just work our way through the grits till we get all the way through them. We got a mirror finish. This video is brought to you by 731woodworks.com. Go check out our online store. We have easy to follow build plans to help you make awesome projects. If your chisels are really bad or if you just want to get rid of those tooling marks that you see, put your chisel in and tighten this down when you have the same angle as it is from the factory. And then we'll get that flat and all those tooling marks gone using the same steps. And then we'll come back and set it to a 25-degree angle so we get that micro bevel. It's important that you put pressure down here and not side to side. Make sure you're getting even pressure. And you'll be able to see once you get all of it ground back down to that angle. Now all we got to do is run it back through those same exact steps on the angle. Hey, if you like videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon next to it so you get notified of all the new content we've got coming. You'll see where it's not quite all the way uniform all the way up through there, so we want to keep doing it until we get a uniform look. So for the micro bevel, all I'm going to do is put it back on the table saw with this 220 grit paper. I'm going to set it at 1 3/16 inches away from the honing guide, and I'm just going to run it back and forth until I get it even all the way across there. Use a sandpaper at that 25-degree angle. Now you can see the micro bevel showing up. So you got your original angle that comes on the chisel, and then you'll see that little shiny part there at the end where it just it's got more of an angle going toward that flat surface. That's what you want. You want that micro bevel because that cuts the wood a lot smoother. It creates a sharper edge. For a chisel or any blade for that matter to be sharp, you just have to have an intersection of two smooth surfaces. So if you've ever felt the sharp edge of a 90-degree angle, like a piece of metal or even a piece of wood can get sharp sometimes at 90-degree angle, it's just two smooth edges coming together. That's the same premise with a chisel, where that beveled edge and the flat edge come together at a smooth point, and that makes them super scary sharp. So now we got our micro bevel set. What the 220 did is set the bevel. Now we're going to run it through these grits and just hone that in or refine it. Hone it, get it, honing guide. About 30 strokes per, and then on the last one about 60. Be sure to wipe between grits. Man, look at that. That is, whew, pretty. Now that I've got everything honed with all the honing stones, this is called a leather strop. This is horse butt leather. It is extremely hard leather. This is one of the best uses for it. This is some rubbing compound that you'll get too. This is a rough side, this is a fine side. We're gonna do the rough side first. Be sure to pull it, because if you push it, I have learned very quickly that you will cut this leather with this very sharp chisel. So pull, pull, pull. I cut it right there. They call this charging your leather when you put this compound on there. Be careful, because this thing is sharp and I didn't pick it up. Dang it. You should get a very mirror-like finish across there. So now that I got that done, I can take it out of the honing guide. When you do put it in the honing guide, you're going to make sure that it's flat across both of these pieces here like that. So now I'm going to hone or use this on the back side because we didn't earlier. That is one sharp looking chisel. We're fixing to find out how sharp it really is. Look at that. So now we got an intersection of two smooth edges, that micro bevel with that flat back. And everybody always tests it on paper. We'll do that first, then I'll show you what it does on pine or spruce softwood. Whoa, way. Super sharp. That thing is sharp, y'all. Now try it on this piece of spruce and we'll see exactly how sharp it is, because softwood is, if you don't have a sharp chisel, what you'll wind up with is it'll actually compress the fibers of the wood instead of cutting it. That thing is scary sharp, y'all. Sharp, sharp, sharp. If I can sharpen a chisel, most anybody can do it. I'm not your guy. I'm not that hand tool guy. I've used power tools all the way up until pretty recently when I started trying to venture off into some of this stuff. Now, a chisel is one of those things a woodworker needs in the shop. Doesn't matter if you're using all power tools or not. You're gonna wanna clean that glue out of that corner. You're gonna wanna take just a little bit off so that the piece fits together. A chisel is one of those must-have tools for your woodworking shop. So a lot of the other methods I saw online on YouTube was you had to have a diamond stone and some wet stones, and you had to use the diamond stone to flatten the wet stone. And I was like, why? Why is it gotta be that complicated? So me and Mike Taylor was talking from taytools.com, and he sent me this package to show me, and he walked me through how to do it easy way. He actually sells this kit, and it comes with 3 pieces of glass, has these stick-on abrasives, and it will give you a very sharp chisel. All this stuff is about 60 bucks for the whole system, give or take a few dollars, and you'll be able to sharpen all of your tools, chisels and planes. So now you would only use those once in a blue moon to get the edge back. If you've damaged the edge somehow, hit metal or whatever, you would use these to get your edge back, the process we just used. Otherwise, you're just going to keep your piece of stropping leather, and every, I don't know, if you're using a chisel a lot, every 10 or 15 minutes, then you would just recharge it with your compound and then just hit it with the stropping. If you notice in barber shops where they use straight razors, they don't go back to sharpening stones and sharpen those razors all the time. They have a leather strop that they'll hit their razor with between customers, and that cleans everything back up. That cleans that edge back up, and you don't have to worry about resharpening constantly. That's what this leather strop is for, is to basically put that edge back on there. The strop isn't taking away material, right? It's just smoothing it down. Every woodworker needs a chisel or a set of chisels. And don't go cheap like I did and buy these, because they just don't last. The metal's not good. It's an inferior metal, and it just doesn't, it's not gonna hold that edge at all. I would go with something like these Narex. They're extremely good. There's others. I have the 2 cherry set that was gifted to me, and they're excellent. So it just depends on your budget. You don't have to spend $500 on a set of chisels. 100, 150, get you a good, nice set of chisels. If you want to make a cutting board the easy way, click that box right there. Clicking that box gets you a big old virtual fist pump. Also, another one of my favorite videos right there.